Hey guys, this is John here in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Friday, August 9th, 2024. And today we are looking at Zero Number 15 by Alex Cott and illustrated by Ian Bettram. And I like the green and purple. And I've seen this art style before. So the bad guy who wore the balaclava, if you guys have been paying attention, if you've been watching all these, there's a bad guy in this series. This is a series about a CIA agent named Edward Zero. And he has a handler who's a bit of a prick, and the handler's boss who's a bit of a psychopath. And he has some co-workers who get killed in the line of duty because that's what happens when you're an assassin. But they also have this mushroom fungus thing going on. This little group does, where all these people are infected with these growths that make them hallucinate, as growths do. And he is down there having a hallucination with them, sort of like Tetsuo in Akira when he sees the giant teddy bears and all the other stuff. Or this also reminds me of the the Dennis Hopper bit in Apocalypse Now. So this is a big assassin epic, right? This is episode 15, issue 15 of 18. So this is almost the exact same time that Willard, played by Martin Sheen, meets Dennis Hopper's character, the photographer, at the end of Apocalypse Now. Basically what's happening right here is he's having this conversation with himself about guns and murder, and don't you have to be insane to write this, and all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And Allen Ginsberg's in it, and it's kind of silly. It's kind of unnecessary. It makes me wonder about the writer's sobriety. It kind of goes nowhere. You know, this is good when you see it like in Aeon Flux. They did a little bit in Aeon Flux where there's a little boat, a little character in a boat, and it turns out that that's a disturbance in a pool of blood. As a character lays dying, he's hallucinating. That's a good way to do this. There's been flashbacks in this story. What am I talking about? I was going to say there haven't been a lot of flashbacks, but technically the whole thing's been a flashback. All to this scene of his son with a gun pointed at his head. But they don't ever show, he's been in a couple relationships. He hasn't been in a relationship with a colored girl, so I don't know where he had this son from. But I guess when you're an assassin, you have a lot of... So this is basically the same thing of all work and no play, right? I don't want to say it's an unnecessary issue, but man, if I had bought this one first, I would not have bought any more of the series. So this series is kind of hot and cold. It is what it is, you know. Wildwood Tarot, this is the Ancestor. This is the Hooded Man. We've only got a few of these left. Today is the Three of Stones, Creativity. These decks are really well done. This deck is really well done. I don't know the name of the artist. I'll look it up before we finish it. So anyhow, today's episode is brought to you guys by Legacy of Mad Scientist, a story about this little girl, Ashley Fox. She and her younger brother get chased around by government agents who want to steal her father's property from her after he passes away. And this is a sequel, The Legend of Ashley Fox, where she is at an orphanage. She's older. She's like a sophomore in high school with a bunch of other kids. And she has to unite the gangs against a bunch of serial killers who run the orphanage. This is our comic book, Ashley Fox / Valkyrie. Working on some more stuff I've been writing. This is done by myself and a friend from art school. And so you can check that stuff out here in the description. Some things I want to talk about in terms of plots. So this bit, they're doing kind of a braided plot over time. A beginning, middle, and an end storyline. And then they're mixing them up. And they're showing you bits as the story progresses. So it's kind of chronological, and it kind of foreshadows the future, and it kind of reflects the past in that there are bits of the future and flashbacks in this story. Technically, the whole thing is a flashback, but it's a flashback in chronological order, with some flashbacks that go back even further, like to Edward's birth. So this is, like I was saying, this is kind of a braided storyline. I sort of prefer braided storylines to an A-B plot. An A-B plot is sort of drama and romance, and a braided storyline is interested party, interested party, interested party. And it's kind of like a that Move the Cup game. I don't know what the name is. I know there's a name. 3-card Monty, I guess, would be the name for it. In Layer Cake, it's not as obviously a braided storyline. It's just more of an ensemble cast. But you can really see it in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, where you've got the first crew with Nick Moran and Jason Statham, and they're the gamblers. Then you have the second crew, who are the thieves, who rip off drug dealers and whatnot. Plank is with them. And then you have the third crew could be the marijuana growers, but then you also have two groups of antagonists. You have Harry Lonsdale, the porn guy who rips off the kids gambling, and you have the big afro dude, whose name I don't remember, and Nick the Greek. So you have all these groups, and it's very much a braided storyline. They all interweave together. They all touch on each other. Where some of the Zero stories are really spread out. They're more like beads on a string, or strings that are tied together and then tied together again later on down the road. That's sort of a different thing. Snatch does an even better job of it, in that they have Benicio del Toro in the diamond heist. Then you have Jason Statham and Bricktop in the boxing match. And then you have the Pikeys, who are in the middle of it all, and the black dudes, who are trying to steal the diamond, and they have, end up with the dogs. So that's a braided storyline where all these people are interacting with each other. Whereas this, it's just sort of a braided storyline over time. And the bacteria fungus thing being sort of like the third plot that's really almost unnecessary. It's like they shoehorned that in instead of a romance. It's not often that you see a braided storyline done well. It stands out when you see a good one. I don't know if I would call John Wick a braided storyline. It's pretty straightforward. Just because it doesn't have a romance doesn't really mean it fits the bill. I don't know. Other than that, I did want to mention, I forgot a recommendation from yesterday. Blade of the Immortal. Takashi Miike's made a movie of it. That's really good. But the manga is amazing too. And pretty much anything by Takashi Miike. Audition, Ichi the Killer, Dead or Alive trilogy. The third one's awesome. All of them are awesome. So you can't go wrong with that stuff. All right, see you guys tomorrow.